Hi, I'm DJ Ware. On this episode of the CyberGizmo, I'm going to be going back to ZFS, OpenZFS 2.0, and this time I'm going to compile it for hardware. I'm going to install it as packages, and then I'm going to attempt to import an existing ZFS volume that I already have created right after this. So I'm over on my hardware, and this is a Intel NUC. It is a 10th gen Core i7. But here, let me just get my mouse over there, and let's see. Let's take a look at what we got. So I have a machine with 64 gig of memory, which should be more than enough for this small. It is not it is not a huge pool. So yeah, it isn't too big. So let's see what we got here. So right now I have it's a RAID Z1, and it has 4 drives in it. There are, and I don't know why the first one isn't showing, but the first 3 are Samsung 860 EVO 1 terabytes, and then the last one is a Crucial 1 terabyte. I just don't have enough to fill it out as all of them, but maybe eventually I'll move one of the ones that's on the cluster over, but for right now, I think this will be fine. They operate pretty close in performance. It's not really too far off. But let's do, I'm going to look at my installed, and then I'll do a grep for ZFS. So what I currently have installed here is ZFS utils for Linux, which is, of course, ZOL. 0.8.4, and if you remember the video I did initially on 2010, that they released just 1 week after 0.85 came out, so I'm sure they didn't have enough time to actually test and include that package in their base packages. But so yeah, just one patch level back from what's current from ZFS on Linux. Now OpenZFS, of course, is on 2.0, and that's what we're going to be working on today. So I am going to replace this version of ZFS, and I'm going to go ahead and install and compile ZFS2. So just let me get set up here, and I'll be right back. So I'm pretty much ready to go, I think. So the first thing you'll always want to do, I don't need the sudo, I'm going to stay under root, is a update. Just make sure there aren't any outstanding packages waiting. So we'll do that. Now this is not going to go, but that's okay. We'll go through the motions anyway. And there are some stuff I can clean out, which I'll do as well. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and auto remove that junk. Older packages. So now we should be good to go. The next thing I'll need to do is I'll need to set up a build environment. And if you go out to the website for ZFS 2.0, let me see if I can. Okay, so on the OpenZFS site, there is some documentation for the developer resources. And if you go to the the menu item building ZFS, you'll find information about installing the dependencies for whatever distribution you're going to be using. So today I'm going to be using Ubuntu, and these are the packages that it's required in order to be able to do the install. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Let me do that. And I'm also going to add one other, and that's the auto config. PBE headers. Okay. That's for Debian, so we don't need that. I don't think. We'll find out when we do the config. If it finds something missing, it will tell us. The next thing I will need to do is go ahead and bring down the actual source code. So we'll go back over here and, oops, went too far. I want to go here. And we'll do that. I just want to bookmark it. Actually, you know what? I don't think I need to be root anymore. I think I would rather do the compile here in my home directory. So we'll go ahead and bring it down. And you'll notice that there's an auto gen, which allows me to gen up the config file. And we'll wait for that to finish. It shouldn't take too long. Okay. And I should have a configure now. So we will go ahead and attempt to run that. There we go. And this is just making, you know, if you haven't done this before, this is just making sure you have the necessary support in order to be able to do the actual compile. Okay, so far so good, no errors. So the next thing we'll want to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a make. And if I just did a make by itself here, it would just compile into binaries. And then I could then do a make install and it would put it in user local. But that's not what I want to do today. I want to actually make the packages, the deb packages that I'm actually going to need to install. So this will take a bit and I'll be back. So it's about 1957 or 7, almost 8. So it's about 8:02 right now, so it took about 5 minutes to do, and as you can see, it's done. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I export my ZFS pool and get it unmounted. Because obviously I'm going to be I have to get rid of the old packages. So let's see. I think there's some libraries. Yeah, there's one library. So apt remove. And ZFS utils Linux. Oops, might help to make it sudo, huh? I'm gonna run I'm just gonna check and make sure there's nothing else installed. This is from the instructions on their page, so oops. There was one sneaking around in there, wasn't there? Okay, let's just make sure that we got all of them cleaned out because we don't want anything in here that might be doing it to us. All right, so now in this directory, I should have a bunch of RPMs and a bunch of debs. So all those debs are the next thing I need to install. Well, at least most of them. So let's see. Make sure I've got them all. CFS dash underscore, I should say. 2.0, yeah, got that one. And CFS DKMS, check. LVN pair, be, yep. And libzfs4, check. libzpool, yep. All right, I think we're good. So I'm going to do a sudo ahead of that so I don't have to do it again. And we'll just go ahead and install those. This should overwrite the module that's already there. There is a ZFS module that is installed. This should overwrite that. If it doesn't, then we'll have to probably reboot to get the new one in. Obviously, it's not going to work with a 2.0. But I just thought I would try this today, you know, on hardware. I haven't tried this on hardware yet, so I thought I would just record this with you and see what happens. But I'll be right back. We'll just let this run until it's finished. It didn't take a whole lot longer to do that. So the other thing that will happen here is that when it reboots, it should go ahead and install the module correctly. And I'm going to reboot this machine. But the other thing is we want to make sure of is that it auto mounts any of the ZFS pools that are configured. Now I didn't remove the configuration for the old one, so that should still be there. In order to do that, I know this is if you go to the website, they talk about this being an issue, and they haven't quite finished the packaging yet for this. And really? Do I really want to do this? I don't think I want to do this. Let me see. Let's do an ls mod. Well, I guess let's just try it. Ooh. We have something happening. All right, so at this point we are on 2, but we have K mods that are still 0.84, so I am going to reboot. Yeah, I don't really want that to happen. So yeah, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's go back in and see what we got after the reboot. So I'm going to go ahead and do a version on this again. And good. I know I could have done a remove mod. I could have then done an install mod, but I don't want to leave anything around in memory from the old ZFS pool. I want to clean it all out. So just in case there's any conflicts at all. So all right. Let's see if we can import the thing. So far, no news is good news. Yep, it's there. Okay, so I think the next step, I think I'll go ahead and get some benchmarks done on this. Now, don't compare this to the last benchmark. Those were only with single drives. This is with 4. That would be cheating, right? So, but I'm really curious to see how well this will work. So let me go to, let me see how this is set up. Okay, good. Oops. Let's make sure that, I don't know who the owner is here. Let's go find out. And it's Pi. Okay. So it even, one other thing I'm kind of curious about is get all. I guess it's just all and then ZFS pool. Just want to see what, I think it's still going to be at the compression. This was initially set up on ZF4, so compression. Now this won't have any out here, but it will for the modules. Yeah, there's no compression here. Let's see. Let's do YTD, YTP. YTP. All right. I think I just saw it go by. I thought I did. Let's see. So, yeah, there's no compression. Well, if there is, it's really lightweight. Okay. All right. So, all right, let's see what happens. So it's starting out. What I'll do is at the end of this, I'll go ahead and I guess I could put these through, and then I'll in the next video I'll actually do formal benchmarks. But right now I'm just going to stress test it and see if it blows up, because if it gets through this is a pretty good workload. So it's not a benchmark. This is just a stress test. Let's just see what happens to it, and I'm just going to let it run through. You can watch it with me. That way, if it blows up, you can see it too. So, I mean, the build process isn't all that complicated, but that last part where you do an apt get install the ZFS utilities Linux, because it was going to install some older packages, I don't think I want to do that. I want to mix it. So what I'll probably do is just go make the entries manually to the etc ZFS and have it auto start from there. So, or I don't care. It doesn't bother me that I have to go do a start on the file system. I don't reboot this machine that often anyway. So, and then hopefully they'll get their packaging done. The OpenZFS team will get the packaging done for RPM and Deb, and then we won't have to worry about having to build our own packages to make this work. So, yeah. So one thing and that's basically it. So this is not going, if you follow these directions, it is not going to auto mount your ZFS pool. You have to do that manually by doing a zpool import, right? But I'm surprised it took the old one. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get any performance gain out of this until I actually recreate the pool. So usually, I don't know if I need to make a pool and then copy the stuff over to get it actually to pick up the new stuff. I know I would have to do that for the compression. So, because, yeah. It's already 3 through it. Now, just remind you that this is a Thunderbolt 3 device that is attached, that has a 4-drive array, and then I am running this as a RAID 1Z, which would be equivalent to a RAID 5. Oh, excuse me, a RAID 6. Yeah, a RAID 6. Even though they're not quite the same. And I'll probably go through a couple of things. What I'll do is try to fill it up and see, get it up to its 70% of being full. When this is done, I'm going to check the memory and see how much the LH arc is taking. I heard something, there was some kind of issue with Proxmox, that there was people that were installing this under Proxmox, which you can do, and it does work. But there was, if you were doing GPU pass-through, they were recommending that you turned off one of the LH arc settings, and I think you can find that if you go out to the notes for the ZFS 2.0 team, and there's an explanation in there as to what's going on and what you have to do. But for that, so if you want to put this, I haven't tried it yet on Proxmox to install it, but the setting is L2 arc _ MFU only = 1. and it is if you're using GPU pass-through. If you're not, then you should be fine. The problem is that if you're doing backups, then to the ZFS pool, it'll fill up the SSD, and they're saying it will actually trash it. So that's done. Let's take a look at memory. Now, I don't have a whole lot out here. I mean, yeah, it's not taking a whole lot. But again, I think I only have, yeah, it's less than a terabyte. So, in total storage. As far as the actual, 3.62 terabytes, 846 gig used, 2.8 terabytes left. So yeah, and that's as far as I'm going to go today with this video. It's not a hard install. Just remember one thing: if you've got ZFS on root, you reinstall Ubuntu and put it on ext4. Because you're going to have a heck of a time trying to get it to uninstall. And the fact that if you do succeed, well, you don't have a usable system. So, but you're not going to be able to overwrite your root file system when ZFS is already up there. There's no way to unmount it. So if you are using ZFS on root, just rebuild your Ubuntu. Same with Debian, because you can run ZFS root on Debian as well. If you're as 10.5, if you are doing that, then just reinstall it. Reinstall your OS first, because I've heard all kinds of people having trouble with that, and nothing will go through, nothing will work. So, but this is the first time I've tried this. So if it was going to end badly, I was just going to let you see it go bad, but it didn't. It actually worked. So the only thing left is I need to figure out what I need to do to make sure that it auto starts the pool and auto mounts it. So that's the only thing I got left to do. And I know what they're saying, but I got something left over in my package cache that maybe I need to get rid of. So anyway, that's all I had for today. I hope you enjoyed this video about ZFS 2.0. I will be doing formal benchmarks in the future. I've already started. I just wanted to do a stress test, see if it would survive that far. My next step here will be to actually fill the drives up to 70% of their capacity, and then start copying it to the older I have a 084 that's running. I want to see if that works, and then I'll update my production. This is my test server. I don't ever touch production until I'm absolutely sure things are going to work. I don't recommend that you just jump in and start tearing your production servers apart either until you've had a chance to test it and get familiar with it. Yeah, that's all I had. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. See you all again real soon, and bye for now.